Welcome to October's Bring Your Own Ball on FCUM TV. This month, more games have ended in ties than at the World Bondage Championship, so strap yourself in for all the action. We've got a one-on-one with Margie, while Marv is in Moston, where the man from Del Monte finally said yes. Alright then, footsteps and music.
Hello there, how are you? Don't answer that, it's very much a one-way process. I'm Andrew Lindsay, or Andre Lindsay, if you watched last month's show and you saw the caption thereon. This month I'm joined once again by FCUM Radio's Swampy and Stephen Wood from the FCUM Review. First, some football, and we start the month with a good old-fashioned Manchester versus Liverpool affair. Marine the visitors to take on FC United at the start of the month. With Bury hosting a black pudding competition or charity gig or similar, this match took place at Bowerfoes Stalybridge, a ground that could only sound more northern if John Gwynn said it. Commentators for this one are Sam Huddart and Roy Williamson.
Welcome everybody to Bowerfoes Stalybridge for this Evo Stick Premier Division fixture. FC United of Manchester versus Marine FC. The pitch in excellent condition as I've just tested on my journey over to the gantry. I'll do the Marine side first of all. In goal, Callum Williams. 2, Sean Dowling. 3, Ian Latham. 4, Sam Barnes. 5, John Shaw, the captain. 6, Jonathan Goulding. 7, Andy Fowler. 8, Paul Woolcott. 9, Will Jones. 10, Connor Roberts-Nurse. 11, Matty Devine. And the subs for Marine, Joe Fowler, Tony Rendell, Michael Monaghan, Nick Rogan, Ryan McMahon. Sam, the home side this afternoon.
Thanks, Roy. In goal for FC, John Worsnott, Liam Brownell at number 2, Greg Daniels at 3, Dave Birch, Andy Pearson, Dean Stott the captain, Matty Wolfenden, Chris Worsley back, Tom Greaves, Jerome Wright and Ashley Mulholland. On the bench for FC, Callum Byrne, Matty Walden, Roger Giggs, Sergio Rodriguez and Adam Jones on the bench, Roy. Oh, unlucky. Greg Daniels, right foot shot, edge of the box. Unlucky, Greg.
That's a nice ball left from Birch to Worsley. Jerome Wright brings it inside. And again Jerome, good running lad. Oh, good effort, good effort. Well, it's alright asking Jerome to do that, but you've got a left winger out there who's not doing that. It's just a bit odd. Looking lively. Still got the ball, Marine. Over it comes. Oh, now there was 2 players there. Here from Marine. Room on the left. 4 or 5 players in the box. Look at the room here. Oh, well, I tell you what, they got away with that, FC United.
Corner ball for FC. Dean Stott in there, Andy Pearson in there. Right at the keeper. Stott! Yeah! Oh! Off the line. Back into the box. Pearson. Wolfie. Bubbling about. No red shirts can get on the end of it. Pearson looking for Ashley Mulholland on the overlap. First time. Yes! Greg Daniels, that's more like it. That's what we were saying. Putting these balls forward for players to run onto. And a first time cross from Ashley. Greg Daniels right on the button. Makes it 1-0. That should change things. We've got to watch this Marine break. Ball forward. Rogan against Andy Pearson. Nice ball inside. Ooh, good shot. Tips over from Worsnop. It was a good shot, that. Andy Fowler forcing Worsnop to make a good save. Nice to get back on the back to winning ways, and let's hope we can continue. Really, we've got players to come back. Things will change for the positive. Let's just keep this run going, Roy.
Well, the referee blows his whistle. FC United and Manchester 1, Marine 0. A very close encounter, could have gone either way really.
So Swampy 4 consecutive defeats at the end of September. This was a solid start to the month.
It was, yeah, very much needed a win, and it didn't really matter how it came. And 1-0, very, very tough encounter against a team that we've not obviously done well against, in all fairness, but it was a job that needed to be done. And overall, I think we just pretty scraped it really in with the results.
Well, in control for most of the match, but a little bit prudent, maybe a little bit scared to go forward and protecting the clean sheet.
I think two very evenly matched teams, two good quality teams, two footballing teams, and that's what I think we've discussed in the past. When FC United play against footballing teams, they can play their wide fluidity type of passive play. They dominated in certain parts, but they were very dangerous, Marine, without really being clinical in front of goal. They had a number of opportunities, and on another day, really they would have been looking to come away with the draw for that. But I mean, I think FC United, they dug in, and they needed to dig in after four games under bounce defeated. It was just really a question of, can we match them, can we get the work rate up there, and can we get a goal? And the goal came, and it was a terrific goal. It was one of the best goals we've seen this season, really, just for the passage of play rather than the actual goal itself.
Well, how far were Marine from getting that draw? Because it was a tense finish.
It was a very tense finish, yeah. I mean, I think Fowler, the number 7 and number 2, there was two, the number 7 and number 10, both were tremendous throughout the whole of the game. And I think Fowler, with a few blocks in front of goal, there was tentative moments for FC United, but equally, it's all part of football. You defend well. You in that respect, they did the job, and we would be happy with the point. They would be disappointed. They would have been very disappointed, I think, to come away with nothing out of that game. But as far as FC are concerned, the 3 points is and was very, very important. Very
quickly, you mentioned Marine's number 10. That was a player called Connor Roberts-Nurse. Has there ever been a footballer who sounds more like a euphemism?
I'll leave. Yes, there have.
Good. That's not a subject of our Vox Pops, which will be recorded after the game. Let's see what you, the co-owners, thought.
It's about time we started climbing up the tables, hopefully. We've got a game in hand as well, so you never know, we might start frightening some of these other teams. We need to start frightening somebody anyway.
Yeah. All changed on our first goal though, wasn't it?
Oh yes, definitely. Crowds up, the players are up. Their heads started going down a little bit as well, so I think it definitely made the difference.
It was absolutely brilliant. They played really well. The game ran smoothly. The ref was very good, I thought, because the game just was, it was end-to-end stuff, and we won, and that's the most important thing. Yes.
Yeah, happy birthday, Dino. Played awesome. Absolutely fantastic. All the lot of them. Absolutely brilliant. Team performance. We needed it at the time.
Good to get that back again. It's not been a good few weeks, has it? So first goal changed a bit, didn't it? It did, just a little, yeah. I couldn't see from back with how we stood back on air, but yeah, it was a little under pressure a bit, but it just made us look that bit more solid.
It was fantastic getting that win today. We really, really needed the win. It was a great goal, but just one goal off somebody's backside would have been all we needed, so it's great. Get us back on track again. Thank goodness September's out of the way, so October hopefully will get us back to August form, and then we can go and take this league by an absolute massive margin as champions for a change. I was going to say something rude, which is why I stopped myself, but never mind. Anyway, great win, fantastic. Great stuff.
Yeah, today's performance, I thought Chris Worsley coming back really made all the difference. A lot more solid. I think we'll get better again still once we get Jonesy back in the team. and we'll rise up the table.
Well, the win over Marine moved FC to the almost customary position of 11th. And next up was a midweek encounter at Nantwich Town. Now, we were told that nobody filmed this until about 5 minutes ago when we started filming, so you were going to have Swampy's radio commentary. Instead, we're just going to continue to impress on you that Stephen's not here and ask Swampy to tell us all about Nantwich and the game there.
Again, it was two similar teams. Danny Johnson obviously taken the vast majority of the team from Ashton United and have now become Nantwich Town. Got a goal right on the death of the first half, 45 minutes, Pearson with a header. They would be disappointed with the marking, in fairness. The game itself really lacked any lustre, any real quality in the first 45 minutes. It was two teams, I thought both struggling, to be honest, and the second half improved somewhat. Aaron Burns got an equaliser, and he's a guy who obviously an ex-FC United player and scored a lot of goals for us in the short period he was there, and you could see the quality. But again, I'm sure Karl would have been disappointed with the defending from an FC perspective as well. The introduction of Ben Deegan gave them a bit more impetus in the game, and I think really from an FC perspective, you don't want to get beat when you go away from home. And there was some good chances for FC maybe to go and get the 3 points, but equally I think it was a fair result.
Those chances, like you're thinking Dave Birch at the bar, just at the start of the second half, maybe FC should have had a penalty. It could have gone well the other way this game.
It could have, yeah, but again, you got to take your chances. Birch with the shot, it was a good shot on goal. Hit the post. But equally, they had chances as well. But I think FC, you go away, you're not too despondent from at least not getting beat. And it was all about again performance. We got that win against Marine. We go again only a few days later, and there's been a lot of injuries. There's been a lot of personnel changes, and in that respect, it can unsettle the team. I thought, to be honest, Nantwich relied on a very long ball for large periods of the game. I thought Danny Caldecott played well at left back. He's a good player, but it was a game really. I think both you drive home after games like that and you think about it and you think, well, did we really deserve the 3 points over the full 90 minutes? And I think a point really was a fair reflection of the game, as far as I'm concerned anyway.
Classic Swampy.
As always.
Now, as an indication of just how tight this league is, that draw took FC up 5 places to 6. And if you're wondering why I've changed my presentational style, it's because I'm no longer Andre Lindsay. I'm Alan Partridge. And that's because FC's next match was in Norfolk. Let's see how the big one went at Lynn Town. Stephen Wood's been allowed to join the party now. So another point on the road. Captain Dean Stott sent off for 2 bookable offences there in the rump of Britain.
Well, indeed. Technically one bookable offence because he got a yellow card for somebody else's foul.
Well,
I found out since. I thought it was a good game actually. As a 0-0, second 0-0 of the season, if I'm recalling. Both been good games. I think we just about edged overall. They had a really good spell, Kingsley, in the second half, but they could have very easily scored. But we're better finishing, as has been the story for most of the season. There's been 3 points.
You gave Dean Stott man of the match in the previous game, so he was, quite a big loss there.
Yeah, I think every time you lose something like the midfield like that, the way we play, you do tend to lose it in the side, if you know what I mean. It was quite late in the game, fortunately, so I don't think it affects it too much. But it was a strange one because, like I say, he didn't do the tackle in the first place. It was Tom Davies who put the actual foul in, but the referee gave him the yellow card, and then second yellow card there's no argument with. So.
I was reading Matt Haley's match report on the official website, and apparently the coach got stopped down on the way down because the police thought it was a bunch of EDL.
I believe so. Yeah.
And that was in Leeds.
Just on the way to Leeds, yeah, apparently.
Who goes to Norfolk via Leeds?
The FC bus?
Yeah, exactly. I'm guessing they were picking some of the Yorkshire lads up, but I don't know.
I hope so, yeah.
They were.
Just veering off the point even further, Lee Neville, one of 2 players, asked to remove cycling shorts in that game. It had everything, didn't it?
It was. For some sad reason, I was had my stopwatch on. I don't know why I wasn't doing a match report or anything, and it was like 2 minutes in, and he's like off the pitch, and and to compound my freezing cold pasty that I had before the game, which didn't really please me. It was just a bizarre, yeah.
It was, and this is the kind of chat you get when it's a 0-0. Which left FC in 5th, 2 points off the playoff positions, ahead of the game against a side aiming for top spot though. Skelmersdale United. Commentary from Gig Lane is from Stan Huddart again and Roy Williamson again.
And as the teams come out for this very important game, FC United versus second place Skelmersdale. The lineup for FC United tonight: in goal John Worsnop, number 2 Liam Brownhill, number 3 Greg Daniels, number 4 the skipper Dean Stott, number 5 Tom Davis, number 6 carrying on in the centre back position Lee Neville, number 7 Matthew Wolverton, 8 Chris Worsley, 9 Mike Norton, 10 Jerome Wright, 11 Ashley Mulholland, and the substitutes for FC United: number 12 Callum Byrne, number 14 Andy Pearson, 15 Matthew Walwyn, 16 Tom Greaves, and 17 Sergio Rodriguez. And with the Skelmersdale lineup, there's Roy.
Thank you, James. Starting in goals, ex-Red Zach Hibbert. Interesting, Zach scored from open play a couple of games ago against Marine. Number 2 Kenny Strickland, number 3 Sean Holden, 4 Peter Wiley, 5 Rob McIntosh, 6 Ashley Dunn, 7 Matty Hughes, 8 Alan Burton, 9 Dean Asprey, 10 Sean Tuck, and number 11 Adam Morning. And the subs for Skelmersdale tonight: Tom Hardwick, Kevin Ledbetter's at number 14. He was sent off in a playoff game against FC a few years ago, you might remember. Joe Holt, Michael Simpson, and goalkeeping substitute tonight is Ryan McMahon. Tonight, Skelmersdale, they lie in second place after winning the championship, Evo Stick Division 1 North last year, with 102 points in 42 games, and they were 16 points ahead of runners-up Cammon Laird, that had a terrific season last year.
Trying to get it under control. Ball given away. Should go for the return, Norton. They're playing really square. Skemmy's onside. Norton leaves it for Wolfie. Oh, he's put it past the post. He's put it past the post. Very unselfish from Mike Norton as well.
Norton laid it off to him. Oh, that's a bad ball. It's a decent ball out to the wing. This is Dean Asprey again. Flying header. Alan Burton, number 8. Flying header, you can't argue with that, can you? Ball given away at the back. Some of the football is looking very ordinary in it for FC. Greg Daniels. Wolfie into the box. Oh, good effort. Oh, and second effort was into the keeper's arms. Great gap there in front of Wiley. Oh, that was a good save. What a good ball in though. They were well square at the back there, FC. Well caught.
We need to be, somebody come deep for it. Draw them forward a little bit. Daniels gets into space. Good little ball. Norton turns right foot. Oh, slipping and sliding. Norton got a shot on target. No end product. Really struggling with his foot in there. Lee Neville coming forward. One over the top looking for Wolfie. Gets it under control well. Wolfie cuts inside left foot. And the keeper lucky. But we've seen some wayward passes, haven't we? Davis. He didn't even look for that, Tom Davis, at all. It's our possession, it's our free kick. And now they've got a throw in. You lose momentum, you lose possession, and at the moment we're just playing right into their hands because they have got a bit of a spring in the step, Skem, and they just don't look flustered at all, do they?
Well, they don't, Sam, and the big thing about Skem, of course, is that they've they can score, but they've also, there's another one. Yeah, that's 2-0. They can score, and what I was going to say was the momentum from last season as well. And they're a team full of confidence. And 2-0 to Skelmersdale, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't argue with it, Sam. Ambitious there. Ball played back. Oh, there's a danger now. Oh, and FC United cleared it. Absolutely disgraceful defending there, and Jerome is having a real go.
Nevin and Tom Davis, they look like they're really struggling on the turn, and these forwards have got loads of pace. That's Worsnop in a collision with Jerome. He is hurt. Worsnop's also took a knock. Yeah. Got a heavy knock there, Jerome. Yeah, looks like his arm. Jerome not accepting the condolences from the number 7. Who the judge shoved him into Worsnop in the first place, claiming for handball. Skem still got it. Sean Tuck, left foot, straight at John Worsnop.
From Skem's point of view, they don't need that. Everything's going right for them. Good effort, an absolutely brilliant goal. Great goal, Dean Asprey. That's what finishing's all about, Sam. Look at the argument on the FC back line, but what a lovely left foot shot to Worsnop's right hand side, and that puts the visitors 3 goals to the good. Here comes Skem again. Nice turn. Followed through on that. The referee needs to have a word with that. He's not going to do. Who is it that's caught? Ball played forward by Neville. Corwin is going to score. Oh, and he hits the post. Well, that was bad luck from FC. Oh, well, that hit the bar. Whoa. I tell you what, that was almost carbon copy there, wasn't it, from Dean Asprey? Astley's got that deflection. Rodriguez, edge of the box. Come on, Sergio. Good ball. Oh, against the bar from Walwyn. Again, keeper saves. Hit the woodwork twice, Matty Warwin. Just to finish, Sam. Back to the drawing board. Yeah, giving the ball away. And Sergio in the box. Oh, goal, that's a goal, yeah. That's that Warwin, and that was a lovely finish, wasn't it? Well, we've got 10 minutes to go. And actually, the keeper, well, Zach Ibbott's fuming with his defenders because that was a bit of a hopeful ball in the box, but he does finish well, Matt Warwin, when he gets behind the ball like that. Tuck gets it under control. And Sean Tuck dives in, 2-footed. On Lane Brownhill. Two-footed challenge. I think it was both feet off the floor, that one. Really unnecessary. Yellow card for Sean Tuck. box we go again. Keeper gets it. And that was Tom Greaves hammering it over, but I think it was always going to be a free kick. And he does well. Skelmersdale deservedly win that game by 3 goals to 1. The rot started in the first half really, when you've got Alan Burton, the diving, flying header from a lovely cross on the left after Liam Brownhill had been burned really, and that put the visitors in front. On 26, well, Tom Davis got into all kinds of a mess at the back. Ball ended up with Matty Hughes on his left hand side and he buries it, and that's 2-0. Straight after the restart, Dean Asprey, who for me was the player of the match really, scored an absolute screamer with his left foot. A couple of minutes later could well have had another one. Consolation on 80 minutes from Matty Walwyn. A lovely shot when the ball fell to him in the box, got the angles right, hammered it into the net. But all over the pitch tonight for FCUM, you can't escape it. Some very, very poor performances. Skem looked like they had extra players on the pitch for me tonight. We've lost to a good side tonight. This puts Skem 8 points clear of us. Well, all I can say in terms of the FC supporters, they're still here in the stands, still cheering the boys on. The worse we play, the better we are off the pitch. I can't say much more about it really than that. An abject performance in my book from FC United tonight. And the final score will be played FC United 1, Skelmersdale United 3.
So 3-1 defeat and a broken arm for Jerome Wright. That was roddy horrible, Stephen.
It was it's a strange game. In that they talk about degrees of things in football. I'm struggling for things, so things will do. 3, yeah, well, yeah. If Wolfenden goes through and scores early doors, to put back to the pub ball cliches there, aren't we? It's a different game. They scored 3 cracking. In fact, it was 4 cracking goals in the whole game. The broken arm. One of those things, I suppose. He got a push and crashed into his own man, and next thing you know, his arm's in 2 pieces.
For me, Skem, the best team that have been to Gig Lane this season. Good footballing team. We discussed how good they were going to be. We knew they were a footballing team, and they killed us off very quickly.
The frustrating thing about that is that I saw them play Skem 2 weeks ago at Trafford, and they were awful, absolutely abysmal. So it shows the league is, if you catch somebody on a good day, you can get a pasting or whatever.
You do, yeah. But I think you and I both have gone out to see lots of football and semi-professional football over the last few years, and it is a very different kettle of fish. When you see a team playing against another team in the 9th division, the game's very, very much different. But you come to the likes of Gig Lane, it's a league ground. Teams are going to up their ante, and therefore you expect them. And they're a very, very good team. They've got some very, very good players.
Yeah, we have to move on in a sec. But just tell me quickly, Walwyn did his chances no harm, selection chances no harm at all in this game.
Yeah, I mean he hit the no, he didn't score enough. He should have scored 3. Hit the post, hit the crossbar, and then scored 1. So perhaps if he scored the hat-trick, no. I mean he comes on and he's a breath of fresh air. He's a good quality footballer, and he's played at a decent standard. He's played at Wembley. He scored at Wembley as well, and he came on and he had a bit of impetus about him, a bit of quality about him. It was, for me, the game had gone. Really, when he got the 1 goal back, I mean he took it well. I think maybe the first one where he hit the crossbar was a little bit fortuitous to get away with the free kick because he did seem to push the player, but he went past him and he had a shot. The referee allowed him to continue. But no, I mean I think really we weren't too far away from Skem, but at the same time I think they're the best team that have come to Gig Lane. They certainly deserved it.
Good, right, okay. When I say very quickly.
Right, okay. It's a football show and people do want to listen to football banter. or Bants as you're now calling it, isn't it?
NPL Bants, yeah.
NPL Bants, that's
kids
right.
are calling it that, it's not
the kids.
Just me. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Alright.
Okay, carry on.
Point taken. Now, thanks. Last up then for the first team, the welcome return of the FA Trophy. FC United took on Whitton Albion in the first qualifying round at Wincham Park. Not a happy hunting ground over the years, just one win, and even that confusingly was a friendly against Nantwich Town. Anyway, could FC United make it through to the next round? Here is James Quinn.
One comes back into the danger area, headed by Pearson. Not quite dealt with though, and it's that's Andrews there, gets it out to Wilson, will play across, ball, and it goes in a deflection. And who it looked like may have been Michael Norton, who was back defending the corner, moved in by Wilson, deflection, and well, we've got a game on our hands now. FC United with an opportunity. Never easy to get the ball over a wall and then under the bar, as it were, in these situations, but Norton now, he's strolled the direction of the ball. And then walks away, and now Walwyn chips. Oh, yes. Excellent! Absolute class from Matthew Walwyn! Top corner, underside of the bar and in. Absolute bit of quality from Walwyn. Well, we've seen what a quality footballer this young man has. The talent is there. First time left-footed, that's good. Norton, and then it's running! It's magnificent! It's out of nothing! It's Matthew Wolfenden with a volley! That was magnificent! Great first time cross, left-footed, curling cross from Brownhill. Beat the players jumping for the header. Wolfenden came in, beautifully controlled on the volley, not easy skill at all, and today we've seen two magnificent finishes from FC United which give them this 2-1 lead here. Andrews, can he get this on his left foot and shoot? Plays it forward! Oh, it's going to be a penalty! There he comes. Yes, he does. And now with 30 seconds remaining, it's 2-2 and a fine cup tie.
Right, well, Swampy missed this one for being at a cider festival. So, Stephen. It's not a terrible result, really, is it? The ground you can't really win at.
No, I thought we actually just shaded it and probably deserved to go through just. We took a shocking decision in the last minute to get the draw for Whitton. I actually moved down to that end of the stand, so I was right in front of it, and Warsnop's got both hands on the ball. He's pushed it away. They keep the refs behind, so we can't really see the fella go down and point to the spot. It was similar to a lot of the games this season in that probably dominated, had a few chances and couldn't score. He took a great goal from Walwyn, a free kick, and then a good volley from Wolfenden to get the goals, missing chance upon chance again. But yeah,
the two Mats. I think you'll see that I introduced the subject of Walwyn and his selection chances very professionally in the last chat. I think I demonstrated my experience, and there he goes on the score sheet again. That's what I was getting at.
Indeed.
Now, another subject that Swampy would want to avoid, apart from cider festivals, is John Worsnop. You mentioned him there. And I said in the last show, I don't know, maybe James Spencer's his position might just be under threat. You poo-pooed that, Swampy. Don't bother answering, you're not in shot. But
I think you're fine out in shots.
That's what happened, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and he's deserved his.
Presenter telling lies.
Well, no, exactly. He deserved his place. To be fair, it's like we said last time. I think you said last time that when he was at Worksop, him and Sam Ashton were the best two keepers in the league. He seems to be going back to a bit of form. He's like any keeper at this level. There's mistakes. In the Whitton game, one flew right over his head and he saved it, which was from their own half, and you could see his face changed from "I've got this" to "Where's that just gone?" as it flew over his head. But he saved it. I think you're right. I think he's earned to keep his place at the moment. But there is a decent keeper waiting.
Yeah, they're both first choice keepers.
Absolutely, yeah.
Good chat and a clear 2-0 victory for me over Swampy. Now, next up should have been the FA Trophy replay, owing to a swimming competition taking precedence at Gig Lane. That was postponed until October the 29th, the day before this TV programme is due to air, and a whole week after it's been recorded. So if you don't want to know the result, just keep watching the show. And that's about it for the first team this month. In other news, We received some correspondence about last month's show that we might have been neglecting the FC United development squad. So, blaming no one in particular, Swampy, you've got 2 minutes without hesitation, deviation or repetition to tell us all about the Stiffs, as they used to be called. And I don't mean the 80s punk band.
Right, and we're on a clock?
Well, it's quite loose.
Okay, fair enough. Development squad, seen them a few times this season. Some lads that have gone from the youth team from last year in the squad. Very entertaining to watch, good quality footballers. The likes of Frank Van Gils there, who's managed to play for the first team together with Richard Smith, who has gone out, I think, on loan at this moment in time to Stockport Sports. But together with a number of other good footballers are in there. Mike Taylor, who made his debut for the first team, centre midfield player, who was capped by England last season. Good team. It's if you get a chance to go down there, obviously they play early doors. Again, sorry, back to the old pun. About 11 o'clock at Nichols for home games. It's worth going down to see them, really. And they are the future, let's hope, of FC United, because there are some good quality players in there. Equally, it allows perhaps some of the players that come back to full fitness to get a few matches in. So, development squad run by Chucks together with Gareth Moore, who does a sterling job as a secretary, and lots of fans can go down there and watch them and support them. Good team, and currently not top, which I think in a lot of ways is quite good, because they started off very, very comfortable in the division. They've had a couple of defeats, and I'm sure Chucks is going to get them sorted out. I did hear a very quick story that at half time they were winning 4-1 and Chucks did a hairdryer on them all, winning 4-1. So it gives you the idea of what his expectations are with this football team, and let's hope they can go on and win the division this year. But I think it's more important that the type of football that they're playing, and I'm sure Karl and the rest of the boys, they'll be trying to do as much as they can to get them involved, to really work them, get them embedded, make sure that they're actually doing the right things in the right manner at the right time, and that's my 2 minutes up. Thank you very much.
And I think that was excellent. Well done, you. And also worth going to watch him as well for some of the names in the team, such as Kyle Caliker.
Kyle, yes.
With K-I-A-L, David Cuba, and it's Charlie Doyle, who I'm pretty sure was in the Quality Street gang. Now, at this point, we would normally preview some fixtures, but next month's November, so honestly, what's the point? So keep yourselves like a grubby punter at Spearmint Rhino, fully abreast. Just point your browser to the website appearing by magic on your screens now, and hopefully spelled correctly. Right, thanks to Swampy and Stephen for covering those 5 first team matches, 1 win, 1 defeat, 3 draws, leaving FC 11th at the time of recording. Again, here are the thoughts of the gaffer.
Well, thanks, Karl, for joining us on Bring Your Own Ball this month. Obviously, September, less said about that the better towards the end, but things picked up straight away in October with a hard-fought win against Marine at Stalybridge. What were your thoughts during that game? Before that game, because that was going to be a very tough game.
Yes, I think it's always a test when we play against Marine because of the obvious facts on Manchester, Liverpool factor. And I thought we thoroughly deserved the 3 points. Really, I thought we controlled the game like we do in most games in long parts, and the goal was well deserved.
With the results and the form going the way it was in September, we went in at half time in that game at 0-0. What do you do in that kind of team talk environment where how do you make sure that the confidence stays the same for the second half?
I think the message all along has been to keep believing and making sure that the players keep believing in themselves, keep trusting themselves to make the right decisions. There always is that air of, is it going to be, chances missed again, are we going to get punished at the other end? But I thought they were excellent in both halves in the Marine game. It was a different kind of performance because we had to battle.
Yes. Following that result against Marine, there was 2 draws then. I think there were 2 very different draws because there was obviously the Nantwich game, which was 1 apiece, where they scored an equaliser. Yeah. The Kings Lynn game, though, I think you could describe that as the right kind of draw, where you go a long way. And
yeah. Well, as you know yourself, you're on the bus. Yeah. So, so for the players to and the club, to put on just a little bit more of a luxurious coach, should we say. That helped to break up the journey. We left in the right amount of time and prepared properly for the game, and I think that was we've seen that in the performance, because long parts of that game against a good side, we must say. You know, we did control and we had chances to go on and win that game.
September's bringing on board. We mentioned sendings off and suspensions, obviously, because there was a few. And at the Kings Lynn game, there was a bit of a, not to get you in trouble, I'll say it, a bit of a joke sending off of Dean Stott. Is that frustrating to try and balance everything up?
It's extremely frustrating because, you know, we've gone from a team that won the Fair Play League last year to a team that's second bottom now, I think. Yeah, in the fair play stakes. You know, and that's really frustrating. But it's something that we can't dwell on too much, but something that we need to learn the lessons from. We need to understand that referees are going to be under pressure, especially when they're officiating in our games, because of the crowd. And 99 times out of 100, there's going to be a referee's assessor there. So they are going to do everything to the book.
And then, I mean, like you say, it's a home win, away draw. Then we're at home to Skelmersdale, top of the league. I think they still are top of the league at the time of recording. We said on the radio, possibly the best team we played against this season, the way they were just fizzing the ball around. How tough was that game?
I think it was very tough. I think overshadowed by certain aspects as well. But, you know, I look back on that game, and if you look at the actual chances created, I think they were clinical. You know, you give them total credit.
It's the Wolfie chance, isn't it, in the first 10 minutes?
Yeah, that changes the game.
Yeah.
That changes the game. But then, you know, what we need to start doing then is making sure that we are strong and we do defend properly. And I think we looked at the goals after the game with the players and just pointed out, and it's only tiny margins. Yeah. It was only tiny margins. The goals that we conceded were very easy to put right. You know, it was one of them games as well where within the first half we've lost 2 players to injury, which obviously disrupts everything that we try to do, and big players as well. Jerome Wright, who ended up with a broken arm in that game.
Well, in the last show we mentioned the fact we played Charlie and Fylde and managed them quite remarkable, not remarkable, but very well. To be fair, despite the scoreline against Skelmersdale, would you say that there's not great?
Still loads of positive.
Yeah.
Still loads of positive. Like I say, you've got to give them credit because the finishing on the night was different class, and the movement and their work rate as well. I think we were probably in a little bit of a lull, to be honest. Whether that Kings Lynn journey had taken something out of the players, you know, it's quite possible.
I'm still depressed now. And the other thing that I was going to mention about the Skelmersdale match was the warm down after the match. The letter B in the main stand stayed behind and chanted all the way, pretty much through the warm down. Yep. And I can only see the players from the back, but they looked a bit in awe at the fact. Would you suggest that perhaps?
I think they were. I think they were dumbstruck as to the fact that they just lost a game 3-1, and yet. And I said to him after the game, the reason why the supporters stayed behind was to show their appreciation of the work rate that you put in. They realised and appreciated that Skelmersdale were a good side, but also they appreciated that on another day, that could have been a totally different result.
Karl, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Cheers.
Right, let's move away from football just briefly into the 5.25 kilometre FC United minithon and walk, sponsored by Linda McCartney on Chorlton Green. Some of that's not true. I mean, who devises anything at 5.25 kilometres? We sent a cameraman and a reporter to fraternise with the cross-section of society, not to run or walk or even promote veganism, just to be journalistic and such.
FC United set up the minithon back about 6 years ago with the aim of having a fundraising experience which was fun and which was also went with our healthy living and also with our role in the community, developing funds for charity, helping charities. We've worked with about 3 charities over the last 6 years. We've raised probably over £120,000, so it's done well and people have had a good time. If you look around, you'll see people in fancy dress. We have various awards. We have quite a fun warm-up which you might want to watch, which again gets people a little bit of exercise before they start. It's a great day. It's always been a great day. It never rains. honestly.
It was just brought by Gary, one of our branch members, and he gave them out on our branch meeting last Thursday. And we all said, what a great idea, because we all look so stylish.
About to start the minithon. I'm running for Newton Heath branch and I'm number 1. I don't know if you can see that. You're going to have to pan down. I'm not going to be number 1 in the race, but I'm number 1 in terms of people who turned up.
Tom's running, I think. Are you sprinting?
Strolling, I think the word is for me. Strolling.
I thought of a fast walk and then I've changed my mind. So just do a sort of a...
I won't be the last. I'm never the last.
Well, it's a surprise for the last Tom. We might, try for that one.
No.
How much is this going to hurt? It's going to hurt me an awful lot. It's tomorrow morning and then Tuesday morning, which I'm going to struggle with. But I'll be fine. I'm strapped up.
Go on, you run the walk.
I'm going to run it. I'm quite competitive, so...
Are you fast?
Not particularly. I don't know.
What time do you think you'll do?
I did the 10k in town in an hour, which I know is not amazing, but I want to do this in 25 minutes, I think.
25 minutes?
That's pretty fast.
It's probably...
I have no idea. Probably beat it though.
Definitely walking.
I'll be carrying my daughter, so I'm walking.
Right, okay.
We'll have a little jog and see how we go.
How fast
Why are you lying?
Eh?
Why are you lying?
I'm not lying, we'll have a jog. Half an hour or so.
How far is it?
About 3 miles.
An hour and a half.
I'll be done ready for the replay on Wednesday.
Right, okay.
On your marks, get set, go!
I'm Anna Reeves, I'm the manager of Ace Centre North and delighted to be here today as a charity partner for FC at this event, which is our 3rd year now of doing it, I think, and it's a fabulous opportunity for us to partner with such a big organisation, and it's a worthwhile cause as well in terms of resonating with what we do around giving people a voice.
That's what I like to call cool runnings.
Oh.
Thanks a lot. Congratulations to everyone who took part. Now to the FC United women's team, and to guide us through recent happenings, here's our very own ladies man Neil Boothman. A defeat though to tell us about this one.
Yeah, we just preceded that with another 6-2 win against Charltonians, which is a different sort of pitch because there was some horses in the background, so that was quite nice.
Good.
But that was a good solid performance. But unfortunately, the Middleton Athletic defeat brought us back down to earth. We were, I'd say, well as a unit, well organised, but because they weren't breaking us down with good moves or anything. They took 2 goals fairly well. Unfortunately, we didn't hit them back with enough. So it's going to become quite a ding-dong one later on in the season when we do eventually get back to play them, because the fixtures aren't out yet, and that should be a title decider.
Yeah, both teams went into that with 100% record, so something had to give, and Amy Cook equalised their opener, but it couldn't last. The other thing happened in that game was that both teams were down to 10 women before half time. With there was a scuffle right in front of the Middleton bench. And what did you see of that? Because Cook was dismissed after scoring, and then for the other side, Amy Battle living up to her name.
Yes, she's been living up to that name throughout the whole of the time with FC. She's somebody you generally don't get past quite easily. It was rather the far side, so it was a little bit difficult to see, and I believe she got sent off for a 2-footed challenge, which wasn't, because it was one of them slidey ones where you stick a foot behind you and go in. She did touch the ball as far as I can tell, but the referee didn't like it. He sent her off, and then there was 2 of them on her, and they were hair pulling and all sorts of, you could see knees and arms going in. It was what you shouldn't be really watching at a football match, so they're probably right, easy for the referee just to send them both off.
Following week though, or the following match rather, a proper bounce back gear this one, 10 goals, seldom seen scoreline.
Yeah.
Against Upper Mill.
Yeah, we repeated the very first professional, or competitive I should say, game against Upper Mill, which was starting of the last season. We beat Upper Mill 10-0 then, beat him 10-0 again this time round, 8 different scorers, a really good team performance. Everybody seemed to give their all, and there were some really good moves, and another direct goal from a corner by Kirsty again. I think Jade was about the only one who wasn't happy with the performance. She gave a lot to the game, and probably the only one who deserved to be on the score sheet that wasn't.
A couple of braces there as well. Shelby Wollstonecroft again always seems to get on the score.
Yeah, got a couple of she got 2 very early. I think she got 2nd and 3rd. Both of them quite different. probably got the world's slowest goal for a third, because you can see her just like trying to shoo it into the net. But a second one, she jumps up and it catches the underneath of her foot and bounces underneath their goalie, which is a little bit something you don't see too often.
Yeah, and two from Charlie Evans, who, had she been a man, would also have been in the Quality Street game.
Yes, 2 goals from Charlie. She did a deft little flick with the first to beat their keeper, and then the other one she welded in from all of about 6 inches away after Jade had rounded the keeper. That was a really good performance. The team were really happy with that one, I should think.
Brilliant stuff, excellent stuff, Neil, thanks a lot. Knowledgeable as always, and now in a position to give Swampy his shirt back. And as always, you can visit the official club website for all the women's fixture, and we will see Neil again next month, and he'll do a check with Swampy before he comes. So, it's finally happening. It being the new ground development in Moston. In October, all the associated documents were signed, sealed and delivered, and now he's all yours. Yes, Marv Willers can tell us just what the ruddy heck it all means.
So, in October, all the necessary documents were finally signed and the building could finally begin in Moston. Now, while we all may be that little bit extra excited and do a little dance, make a little love and get down tonight, the employees and volunteers that work here at FC United's head office on Pollard Street will be that little bit extra joyful, because soon enough they'll be able to do all of their administrative functions in a new state-of-the-art complex up in Moston. We thought we'd come down to the head office today to have a chat with them and see what they're all up to. Behind this door lies the magic. So, John, thank you very much for joining us on today's programme. Maybe you can just start off by telling us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, I was a teacher for 35 years, but when the club started, I tried to get involved right from day one in completely voluntary capacity, and I ended up being matchday secretary, did the team sheets, writing reports on referees, and various other things like reporting results to Press Association, communicating with the league over results and everything. And then when I retired, I needed something to keep my brain going, so I married Andy, and he said, yeah, come in, do some work with us. I'm quite sure we can find you something to do. And it's much room now, so that I'm here 4 days a week plus, still matchday secretary. So yeah.
Excellent. So how long have you been in this office?
Well, the club's been here, I think, 6 years now.
6 years.
We're on Ducey Street, but that was very, very small. It was so small that you couldn't have a meeting and allow other people to work.
Okay.
So very kindly, one of our members and senior volunteers offered us this office, and as you can see, it's fair old space.
So what can you expect from the new ground in Moston?
I'm trying to keep the expectations a little bit dampened down, because judging by the promises that seem to be made and what people think we could be doing, I think they're imagining something like the TARDIS.
I see. I'm expecting holograms and 3D glass walls and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, we'll be all singing, all dancing. Yeah.
But still, I assume faxes and print machines that don't work.
I'm hoping that they will work, and we'll only have one each, and we can leave all the redundant stuff behind.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much, John.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah, and looking forward to good terms.
Great.
Great stuff. Thanks, Mark.
This is the new 5,000 capacity ground in Ronald Johnson Playing Fields in Moston, the future home of FC United. Now, I don't want to confuse viewers, but this isn't actually the real ground. This is a virtual 3-dimensional impression of what will appear over the coming months. It's a vision of the future. It's a bit like Blade Runner or Minority Report. It should be obvious, really. I mean, how would we actually get these camera shots? Probably some kind of complex pulley system, which would no doubt falter like a Christmas tree formation. The first thing to note, aside from the building's rugged and yet unarguable sex appeal, is the total lack of knotweed on the site. Any Victorians watching this may be sad to learn that the infestation of Japanese knotweed is currently meeting its maker, as discussed on last month's Bring Your Own Ball. The £5.5 million project is estimated to take 40 weeks to complete. For any DIY SOS fans, that's an equivalent of around 40 programmes, and 6.5 Nick Knowles. A revolutionary approach to pitch design sees 2 sets of goalposts at either end of a well-sustained pitch made from grass. Surrounding the pitch are what are described in the trade as buildings or structures. The 5,000 capacity ground will hold a capacity of 5,000 supporters. Kevin Kilban once said, "Build it and they will come." Over 7 years of dreams and expectations lie in the foundations of this build. The bricks will be made of love and the mortar of blood, sweat and tears. Pies made of pride and joy will be served, along with pints of community spirit available on tap. This isn't just a community facility. It isn't just a place for friends to meet and drama and joy to overfloweth. It is our home. It's our future. People will live here, meet here, marry here, dream, dance and love here. This is FC United.
And that from Marv just about wraps up this edition of Bring Your Own Ball. Remember, all the recent match highlights are on FCUM.tv. A big thank you as always to Swampy, Stephen Wood and Neil Boothman for joining me this month. We're back at the end of November with all the action from another month of hashtag FCUM action. Will any of us have grown attached? Yet another reason to watch. In the meantime, follow us on Twitter at FCUMTV, but we won't do. But from everyone here, Bring Your Own Ball. Try.